the first golf major of the year, which is of course the Masters. That's been on, and I've remember watching that with my father since I was old enough to watch TV. Um, Due to old age and what the doctors call piss poor eyesight, golfing is decades in my rear view mirror. But it's a reminder that spring is coming. But for me this year, the experience was very different, and it caused me to consider starting an kind of an oppo event, because the Masters and all of its glory and its azaleas and kumquat trees and all of the things that they do there, and they say, of course, Amen Corner. All of everything that the Masters represents now, particularly this year in full on in Trump 2.0, it is it is almost entirely a white Christian nationalist event. So no no hate, no no spoilers, but it's think about it this way. My awful event, as it says in the title of my word traction network podcast title, is the Bastards, and that's the Oppo event, which I'll describe in a moment. But let's just talk about the Masters protects religiously, you might say, their brand, and if you're two kids on a street corner and you set up a stand and you try to sell pimento and cheese sandwiches in the middle of Duluth in the summer, there'll probably be a lawyer from the Masters calling you before you have a chance to deposit the money at the local bank. They guard it. They guard their brand zealously, and I understand it's a tremendous value. If I had, that was Bobby Jones and partner purchasing land in the early 60s. No, excuse me. That was early, much earlier than that. Uh, it was a former. The land where the tournament is played is as much land may have been in Georgia, in South Carolina, and in other parts of the South. It was built right over what was slave quarters for a plantation. And it shares many of the same qualities, if existentially, today, as it did then. Not to minimize the suffering of people that were living under tyranny there, but how far have we come? This is their tournament. My tournament is on the pocket square, which I'm still waiting for the first samples to be delivered for next year's tournament, named the Bastards. It is my on my pocket. There will be a logo that says DEI, because we need maybe hashtag DEI to show that I'm a kind of a modern dad joking kind of silly man. Um, but the Masters invited their first. Lee Elder was a black golfer who was invited. It's a private club, so they can invite whoever they want and exclude whoever they want, even whomever they care to exclude. And they did that zealously right up until it became socially uncomfortable to continue doing so. So they invited Lee Elder, who was purportedly a lovely gentleman, and he played there in '75. Missed the cut first time out, but he played. I think he played in 6 Masters. And then, fast forward, we had, as you know, golf is a sport that's extraordinarily popular in Asia. And, to look at the different flavors of discrimination and exclusion that were practiced by not just by Augusta National, but by professional sports teams, public courses, private clubs. This is America. We do that kind of racism and exclusion very well, and we've been practicing it for quite some time. So throughout the years, I can remember watching. I don't remember the actual year, but I'm going to guess it was the 80s, early 90s, like KJ Choi, right, who's a Korean golfer. Now we're blessed with many, many Asian players on the tour. Hideki Matsuyama, who has won there, has won everywhere, is a magnificent golfer, a great putter, particularly on this type of green. So he's if you're looking for a pick, I haven't been following Hideki this year, but on that bent grass green that they offer there in Augusta, uh, 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 Hideki is pretty tidy. And of course, Tiger. Tiger came in the '90s. He played first there as an amateur in we'll call it mid '90s, and then played as a professional and absolutely assassinated people out there on the course for years to come. It was a tough slog for female members as well. Um, I believe in total they guard their membership information very carefully, because I think perhaps it would not reflect well on them as an organization. Again, private club, I understand, but we have to hold such organizations to a much higher standard, because it's 2026, and in this hardcore racist MAGA era, we need to focus even more attention on such organizations now, because there's so much fighting in the other direction, that we need to be equalizers in that respect. Uh, so KJ Choi, Tiger, throughout the years, many Spaniards, while they members of diverse communities. Do you refer to them as people of color from the statistical point? When I'm sure that the Augusta National wants to count everybody with a sunburn in North as a member of a diverse community, because it might make them appear more open and inclusive to the larger population. They're not. They have they I don't know if they had clan seating at any point in their career. They did. I guess the greatest example of diversity, I believe, in the first years of the tournament, they had a couple Japanese players. And if I'm correct, this is my tired Wayback Machine sometimes malfunctions, but I think that one or two Japanese players played in the tournament even before the Second World War. And then for some reason, there weren't a lot of them for some period of time following the war. You judge for yourself why that was. But it's not. It is not. Inclusivity is not part of their organizing principle. It's how long can we maintain? How can we put a veneer on this white men's only club enough to keep it alive? So they don't come with the pitchforks when we have a more human administration and American sentiment come back at some point, hopefully in the very near future. So, how do I compare and contrast the Masters with the Bastards? Bastards is open to everyone: boys, girls, black, white, yellow, brown, and otherwise. We'll have some we'll have some neat qualifying. You can't buy your way in for any of the Trump kids. We don't accept crypto, or maybe we do. Maybe we do for our Oppo sandwiches, and we'll have. What will we be serving? I'm doing this on the fly, sort of. So we're going to serve early in the round, like in the morning when people show up to the Bastards. We'll be serving uh, arepas. Now, arepas of the Venezuelan variety, not the Colombian, because we want the the cornmeal, not the flour version of the arepas. Damn it! It's my tournament. I'm going to do it the way I want. We'll have hot dogs. We'll have we'll have Polish sausage. We'll have Indian food. Sure. Yeah, we'll have a little bit of everything. It'll be the menu will be as diverse as the player pool that we draw from, and we'll draw from the colleges and universities, assuming that there are some left after Trump is done. And it'll be an opportunity to get outside and enjoy some touching some green grass. Whether there are azaleas involved, I'm not an agronomy expert, but it'll be in the same neighborhood. Will it have the same level of prestige? Not initially. Will it be subject to the same level of scrutiny as the master should be? I hope so, because we are transparent, and we will conduct ourselves accordingly. I think the masters, other than I mean, a course built over a plantation with the name The Masters. If it were funny, then the jokes would write themselves. But maybe it's only ironic. Maybe it's not funny. It's still a free country, sort of, so you can decide. But we've, thinking just in reference to sports, do we have the reason that there isn't as much inclusion in golf is for several reasons, and people like Tiger himself and others have done a lot to increase minority participation in sports like that. Look at what the Williams sisters have done for tennis, another predominantly cracker sport, a country club sport, a sport that grew in organizations and clubs that excluded people of color historically. So you have people, billionaires now, immensely wealthy and influential, beautiful people like, Tiger, some troubles, some challenges recently. I just hope that I don't know Tiger personally. I just hope that he gets the help that he needs to make him healthier. That's all. The Williams sisters, delightful, beautiful, talented, wonderful role models, and have done so much to bring, like Sloane Stephens and others to the sport, and that should continue. And the price of admission to tennis, you need an opportunity to play somewhere, but a racket and some balls is a lot more affordable even than golf clubs. A club membership, very expensive. Other sports, team sports, hockey, parents driving kids to practice at 5 a.m. Uh, Girl dad right here, so I got out of that. I do remember purchasing an extraordinarily expensive set of custom uh, tailor-made clubs for one particular young player. And in my mea culpa, if I didn't make it before, is that because of circumstance, the place where she got some of her golf lessons was on the grounds of what is now Trump National, where your president, a great golf aficionado and a scratch golfer, if you ask DJT. Yeah, but why ruin racism with more racism? So we'll leave Donald Trump aside for a minute, but think about the teams that were named for indigenous people, the Cleveland Indians, who are now well, and the NFL team, the Washington Redskins, who are now the Commanders. Other teams, they haven't changed. Well, FSU hasn't changed from Seminoles. Now, is Redskins more offensive to indigenous people than the proper name, proper meaning grammatically, name of a team? Is Redskins more offensive than an actual name of a tribe like Cherokee, Seminole, or other? I don't. I'm not qualified to respond to that because I am not I'm not an indigenous person, and so I don't have standing to comment on that. But those sorts of small steps and acknowledgement that it may affront some portion of society and making a change, because those changes from Redskins to Commanders, not without cost, right? You're rebranding and changing your logo and all of that. So now Dan Snyder, the former owner of the then Redskins, repulsive human being, horrible human being with a bad record on race, like that. Donald, former owner of the Los Angeles, or the Clippers, before they were the LA Clippers, I guess. When they were down in were they in San Diego back then? When yeah, he was miserable. But these things, as long as people are making an effort to evolve and change with the times, maybe we give them a little bit of grace period. I'm not expecting that they're going to change the name of the Masters to something else because they find the filthy irony of slave quarters on a plantation with a tournament called the Masters. I'm sure there's another reason for it. I mean, I know that there are many definitions to many words. Not my place. Now, Bastards is for my tournament. Is you can have fun with it. You can have a good deal of time. Now, some people might find the word bastard upsetting, and that's fine. You are still free to choose to watch when my tournament, the Bastards, is on YouTube and drawing 9 million viewers in a couple of years. Then who's laughing now? Probably still you, but but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try. It's a time, the level of racism, again, one of the hated words and phrases of this time is permission structure. what is being encouraged in our society, not just what is permitted or overlooked, but what's being actively encouraged. The racism dialing up that to create more dissension. It's trite, but the Republican Party is the party that looks to divide people. Dissension, division. Those are all part, again, the over perhaps overused reference, but no less accurate for it. The Project 2025 of it is part of the playbook. Using language such that you sow division. You create doubt in rule of law. You create doubt in governmental agencies and departments in their abilities to do their job. You run around like some Southern Democrat screaming waste, fraud, and abuse. Like that idiot, I think he's from Missouri, I don't remember his name, who was haunting Kamala Harris in the halls. She's a DEI hire. DEI hire, I told you. Right? That is the not so gently coded language for a very derogatory term for a black woman or man. Right? That's how they're soft pedaling racist attacks. He's a DEI hire. Right? And it's not just my bad poor accent. But I was going to say, to bring in my own racist, if you want to know that racism is spread evenly across the different regions, I could just say calling a spade, but that would be horrible too. But I'll just show that everybody's got shit, because the idea went in my head. I wanted to let it come all the way out and say, we got a lot of shit to do. We got a lot of work still. And this, Hootie and Boo Boo sitting with their parasols out on the golf course and being served, I don't know, champagne and grilled cheese. I don't know what was. I was, no, I've never, excuse me. I have never attended a Masters. I've been to other major golf tournaments when they kind of dribbled through the state of Florida over the years, because I used to have friends that were in major liquor distributors, so it made it fun and free. And I used to attend tournaments like Doral, which is at the now Trump National Golf Club. Every professional golf tournament that was there at Doral from, I don't know, 89 until 99, for 10 years, maybe more. No, more. Lots, many, bunches. Because I used to play, I used to think that I was halfway good at it, and I was only halfway good, and now I'm more than halfway fooling myself. A lot of good golfers in Florida. But the Masters, just with those historical uncomfortable echoes that are there in that tournament, it's very, the Masters tournament, and the award is given in Butler Cabin. Now, Butler is for the name of a gentleman named Butler, but there's just it's a fucking vibe, and it just feels like a clan conclave. More so when I was watching it in the '60s with my father. You know, it's come a long way, but from 0 to 1 on a scale of 100 is not maximum effort, to get there. So I'm still workshopping. Any ideas? I'm grateful. Excuse the background wind. I had to be outside because I don't have a master's jacket, which is a green coat, and of course I wouldn't have their logo here as I'm touting my own tournament, because that would be rude. So I just have my green jacket. Of course, my green hat is featuring a different franchise altogether, a superior franchise in every way, shape, and form. A franchise that represents a city that itself has some profound historical flaws when it comes to race, but we're working on it. I was just watching a presentation of a city budget by Michelle Wu, and that's mayor of this beautiful city of Boston, Massachusetts. I would, if she announced a run for president, I would walk to her house to sweep her front steps and bring in her paper every day. Do whatever I could do to help her, because just think about someone with brilliance, humility, who only speaks 3 or 4 languages. One of them, importantly, you've probably heard that Mandarin internationally seems to be catching on a little bit. You know, humility, lawyer, Harvard educated, in service to the people who elected her to hold office. I say as a disclaimer, not a perfect human, because none of us are. And I haven't had the pleasure of dining with the mayor, so I don't know her intimately. But just think about where we are and the leaders that we have, what they're doing to our country. I don't beat the drum on the reputational harm. That's a different thing. Some people are, yeah, well, there are other presidents that did bad things. Bill Clinton, he had a consensual, intimate relationship with a young, not illegal, not Epstein level, but a young girl, reportedly somewhere on the White House grounds. Yeah, that's bad. On the on the scale, yeah, I'll go for some executive. I'll vote for a whole bunch of executive happy endings compared to what you know uh, the elimination of an entire race of people, genocide, actual war crimes committed heretofore, happening, will happen again. Yeah, I'll I'll curb the criticism. Woodrow Wilson, anti-Semite, sure. All flawed men, world full of flawed humans, men, women, and other. But nothing, you know, nothing like this. So I wanted to take this, obviously promoting my new event, the Bastards, a new tradition like no other, which will be featured on a YouTube channel coming to you at some point in the future once I get my shit together. I won't be holding it on the grounds of a former plantation where there were slave quarters. I won't be excluding people based on the color of their skin, their national origin, who they love, who they worship. It will be a truly inclusive event, sponsored by hashtag DEI, and where the Masters is sponsored by what, Jim Crow bourbon, bourbon and branch water with your breakfast at the Masters. See you tomorrow. Yeah, no, no, let's not do that anymore. Let's just not do it. Let's not. Let's choose not to. Any elected leaders that are not currently speaking out against your current president are complicit and need to be punished electorally. Nonviolent podcast, as always. But I appreciate you all. I will go back and continue to workshop the Bastards as a tournament. We got a bird. They have these really cute bird noises. I remember they used to joke in the old days that when the weather was bad at the Masters, that they would sort of pipe in bird sounds, because the entire selling point of the Masters is the azaleas and the apple woods, or, I don't know what trees, I know maple, I know oak, I know palm, but the trees they have there, the idleberry bush, wick tree or bush or whatever, and the azaleas, the pink azaleas around a particular hole that I can't remember, and Amen Corner, still named Amen Corner, because we need to keep the Christian theme alive at the Masters for sure. How about let's just play the game. And more importantly, golf, the one thing that golf used to mean is or embody was a level of sportsmanship. You look at the quotes of Bobby Jones, one of the founders of the sport, essentially, in the United States. The only players that were members, I think, that were invited to be members were Jack Nicklaus and Arnie Palmer. Not from diverse communities, except if you travel really far north on the Ring Road in Columbus and you get lost. No, still not diverse community. Or it wasn't when, I don't know if Jack still has his compound up there in Columbus. That I did play that course. It kicked my ass. Yeah. In any case, much appreciated. Thank you. Any ideas to help me workshop on this event that I'm planning on how I'm going to make a more inclusive golf tournament? I have already said that it's an open, and it's open to all that qualify, and qualification will not have anything to do with the color of your skin, the country of your origin, your religion, your race, creed, national origin, manifest destiny, or any other silly thing that I could come up with. No. Can you play? Can you post some scores better than the other 100 people that want to qualify? Take a shot. We'll do it the merit system, which you hear a lot about now, as they're stripping away, affirmative action and other programs meant to level the playing field after a prolonged period of racism. That's going to happen again, if it didn't happen since I've been up here talking to you. That will be played back in a sense with Calais, because one of the arguments there for shattering the last leg that the VRA, Voting Rights Act, is standing on, is that, oh no, we're good. We're race neutral in the country now, and we respect all people equally. So we don't need these antiquated. They're just, racism just isn't really rampant in the United States anymore. Therefore, the people that are members of diverse communities aren't at any real disadvantage compared to white people. There are people arguing that, and unfortunately, some of those people are wearing not white hoods and white robes like the ushers at the Masters, but black robes, and they're on the U.S. Supreme Court, right? Have they all been to the Masters? I don't know. Has Sam Alito? Did did Clarence Thomas show up and they sent him to the service entrance because it's Augusta? I don't know the answer to these questions. Possible. It's the vibe. In any case. Yeah, so as I'm planning my tournament and I'm doing my interminable goodbyes, where I'm faced again with that I'm outside in the sun thing, and am I going to be able to? You know what I'm gonna make an executive decision. I am as it may somewhat affect your viewing experience. I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm going to stand, give you a pan view of a beautiful day in northern Massachusetts with a light breeze. There are there buds coming out in the tree? No, they will probably die if the buds are coming out in the trees already, because it's only, I think it's 39 degrees right now in April, but that's what we got. And I have my imitation golf jacket on, my green The Bastards, no logo. Well, if it is, it's not golf related. And I'm going to lift up the phone. I'm going to give you a pan shot of some of nature. It won't be a moon like our friends sent back, the pictures they sent back from the orbiting the moon, which were just magnificent. On the clips that I stole from from NASA's TikTok. I have no idea where I stole them from, but excuse me, I borrowed them. But this will be my version of a nature tour, and that will allow me to hopefully without falling on my face, step towards the door and have enough shade where I can. I mean, I do this by knowing where the button exists on the device. I can't see it, so that's what I'm going to hope that it improves my chances, because I may be able to tell from what portion of the screen is backlit where the button to end the recording most likely resides. So, a long explanation for why I'm going to try not to fuck this up. Wishing you a beautiful day. Stay tuned for new announcements on the Bastards, the new and exciting golf event. It's not Live Golf, it's the Bastards. It's mine, but you're welcome to try to compete. More to follow. So I'm going to, without interrupting the experience, I'm going to show you a little green, step towards the shade, and wish you a beautiful day. And that means that there's a